Okay, a very good day to all of you students. Today we'll be looking at short answer, still under the topic of short answer and vocabulary. All right, short answer, vocabulary. Now, there are three things as usual that we are going to focus on. For this particular task, for this particular part, under vocabulary, there are only two questions. There are only two questions. Now, firstly, we are going to look at the type, and then we are going to move on to the challenges, and then I'm going to share with you some tips as to how you could handle this particular task. After that, we have practices, of course. Now, the type. These will be the last two questions, okay? The last two questions under part 4, okay? The meanings are provided. Normally, we would give you the word and you will be asked to find the meaning. But in this situation, for these two questions, the meanings of the words are given. So what you've got to do is, you need to make use of those two meanings, and those meanings will serve as clues for you to get the right answer from the text. Okay, so you need to use the meanings, you need to understand the meanings and get the right word from the text. So what are the challenges? There are three challenges. The first one is to understand the meaning. When the meaning is described, you must be able to understand what does the meaning means. What does the meaning mean? What does it actually convey? And then you need to understand the context as well. You need to understand the context of the particular meaning. Only basing the meaning and the context would you be able to find the word. So you read the text, kamu baca petikan itu, you will have to relate the context of the petikan, the context of the text to the meanings. And then after that, you would find the words. Now, moving on to tips. What should you do? Read the meanings very carefully. You need to read it very carefully. You need to take into account every single word. And then try to understand the context of the meaning being explained. What is the context of the meaning? We have meanings now. What context do we have? All right. So try to understand the context of the meaning being explained. After that, find the word. Look for the words very carefully. All these tips are only for those two questions. The last two questions in part 4. Okay, which is question 33 and 34. Now, let's look at some examples or some practices. Are you ready for some practices, people?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
can I have a volunteer to read this?
sir.
Who can volunteer to read this, please?
I, sir.
What is your name?
Morgan.
Okay, when you say I, sir, you need to tell your name. Only then I would be able to understand. Now, firstly, we need to read the meaning. There are two meanings there. The first one is heavily populated. Okay, the first one is heavily populated. And the second one is formally. All right, the second one is formally. Now, Mohan, you can read the text. Can you read the text, Mohan? I can't hear you.
Sir, he left the meet, sir.
Okay, now who is in the chat? Let me call out other names. How about Srimati?
Sir.
Is Srimati in? Srimati, are you in there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you read the text, Srimati?
Yes,
Okay, this
can.
one.
Yes. density of less speakers and of known typically as speakers is the 25th most city in the United States, the most popular city in the state of Nevada, and the county seat of Clark County. The city anchors the Las Vegas Valley metropolitan area and is the largest city within the Greater Mojave Desert.
Is it desert or desert? Is it the last word? Is it desert or desert?
Desert.
Desert?
Desert.
Desert. Desert. Okay, now look at the first word. Heavily populated. It shows a lot of population. Heavily means strongly. So heavily populated. What do you think is the answer there?
Most populous. Most
You see? Okay,
Most-
wait. Okay. If anyone were to give the answer most populous, your answer is wrong. Why? If anyone were to give me the answer as most populous, your answer is wrong. Why? If you look here, it says word. Word means satu perkataan, bukan frasa, bukan words, one word. So, although the meaning is in two words, the word should only be one. What do you think is the word?
Populous.
Very
Popular.
good. Very good. Populous.
Yes.
Populous is the right answer. Okay. Now, the second word, formally.
Largest.
Wrong. Any other guesses?
Greater.
Look at the word formally. Secara formal.
Simply.
Simply.
No, simply is not formally.
Anxious.
Officially.
Anchors is not. Very good. Officially. Officially means formally. Okay. Now you see, you have had issues with both the questions, both the meanings. Let's move on. Okay. Look at the meanings. The first word means occupies, occupy, and the second word, preying naturally on others. Okay. So, can someone read to me this text? Who can volunteer to read?
So can I?
Yes, please.
Piranha or piranha is a freshwater fish that inhabits South American rivers, floodplains, lakes, and reservoirs.
Reservoirs.
Resource,
Reservoirs.
although often described as extremely predatory and mainly feeding on fish. Their dietary habits vary extensively, and they will also take plant material, leading to their clarifications as omnivores.
Okay. I think after the practice, I will go back to every paragraph and we will go through the pronunciation again. Okay. Now, occupy is the first word. The second word is preying naturally on others. Okay. Now, which word do you think means occupies? Occupy is to stay.
Predatory.
No.
Planes.
Nope. What is the answer
Not
again?
planes.
No.
Extensively.
Do not simply try for the sake of trying. Look at the word occupy. It means to stay in a place. Now, if you read the text, which word shows the idea that this particular word refers or means the same?
Omnivorous.
Inhabit.
Very good.
Inhabit.
Inhabits. Anyone who replies inhabits, very good. That is the answer. That means you have paused, you have waited, you have seen the text, you have read the text and answer. You see, we always have two different types of attitude. The first one is, I want to try everything, whether it is right or wrong. I simply want to try. And that there is another type of attitude whereby I will take my time to see and I will decide which is the correct answer. Now, I would prefer the latter attitude because that will ensure that you will get your marks in exam. So do not recklessly write. The moment you get a paper, the moment you read the question, you assume that you have already known the right answer and you immediately write. That is a wrong attitude. You need to wait, you need to read, you need to understand, you need to try to understand the meaning, and then you need to try to put the meaning into the context in the text, and then baru kamu pilih jawapan yang betul. Now, the second one should be easy because it is quite with the clue. Preying naturally on others.
Predatory.
Predatory. Predatory. It's very good. Very good. That's the right answer. Predatory. We'll move on to practice 3. Now, let's look at the meanings. Highly skilled. The second one is doubt for truth. The second one is difficult. The first one is very highly skilled or highly skilled. The second one is doubt for truth. All right. Now, can someone volunteer to read, please? Who would want to read?
Can I try?
What's your name?
My name is Heyman.
Very good. Heyman, please try.
Okay. Galileo was born in Pisa, then part of Duchy of Florence, Italy, on 15 February 1564, the first of 6 children of Vincenzo Galilei, a lutenist, composer, and music theorist, and Giulia Amanetti, who had married in 1562. Galileo became an accomplished lutenist himself and would have learned early from his father a skepticism for established authority.
Very good. Now, very well read. Now, highly skilled. What do you think is the word?
May I try?
Yes, yes.
Accomplished.
Excellent. Accomplished. Very good. Accomplished. Became an accomplished lutenist. Okay. Now, doubt for truth.
Establish.
No?
Skepticism.
Very good. And you have pronounced it well. That is how you pronounce it. It's skepticism. Skepticism. Doubt for truth is being skeptical. So, some people will be very skeptical, pessimistic. That is skepticism, which is doubt for truth. Now, let's move on to the next practice. Okay. Now, look at the meanings. There are 2 meanings there: instigate and annoyance. Okay. Instigate and annoyance. All right. Now, who would want to volunteer to read? Can I have volunteers to read?
Sir, sir.
Okay, very good. Go ahead. Yes, you may read now. I'm not getting, I can't hear anything. So,
Sir,
can
my
you,
line is slow.
okay, so can another person volunteer, please? Can we have another volunteer? Yes, yes, please.
Okay. Asthma is a condition in which your airways narrow and swell and may produce extra mucus. This can make breathing difficult.
Mucus.
This can make breathing difficult and trigger coughing, a whistling sound, wheezing when you breathe out, and shortness of breath. For some people, asthma is a minor nuisance. For others, it can be a major problem that interferes with daily activities and may lead to a life-threatening asthma attack.
Okay, well read. Now, instigate or cause.
Trigger.
Yeah? What is it? I can't hear you.
Interferes.
No, it's not interfere. It is
Nuisance.
not interfere. It is not nuisance.
Nuisance is for annoyance.
Excellent. Very good. Nuisance is for annoyance. Excellent. So what is it?
The first one is trigger.
Excellent. Very good. The first one is trigger. Yeah. The first one is trigger. Now let us go through the pronunciation. You have sorted the meaning and the words well. Now let's go through the pronunciation. Las Vegas, officially the city of Las Vegas, and often known simply as Vegas, is the 25th most populous city in the United States, the most populous city in the state of Nevada, and the county seat of Clark County. The city anchors the Las Vegas Valley metropolitan area and the largest city within the greatest Mojave Desert. Do you see the words that I've pronounced? Try to compare it with your pronunciation. Now, this lesson will be uploaded on YouTube channel, isn't it? So you can go there and listen to the pronunciation and repeat it, because pronunciation is extremely important. Let's move on. The piranha, or piranha, it's the same, okay, is a freshwater fish that inhabits South American rivers, floodplains, lakes, and reservoirs. Although often described as extremely predatory and mainly feeding on fish, their dietary habits vary extensively, and they will also take plant material, leading to their classification as omnivorous. Okay, now here we'll have a lot of Italian name, so we may not pronounce it properly because it's Italian, and that's okay. As far as the word is English, you need to pronounce it properly. Galileo was born in Pisa, then part of the Duchy of Florence, or Duchy of Florence, Italy, on 15th February 1564, the first of 6 children of Vincenzo Galilei, a lutenist, composer, and music theorist, and Giulia Ammannati, who had married in 1562. Galileo became an accomplished lutenist himself and would have learned early from his father a skepticism for established authority. Practice 4. Asthma is a condition in which your airways narrow and swell and may produce extra mucus. This can make breathing difficult and trigger coughing, a whistling sound, wheezing, when you breathe out, and shortness of breath. For some people, asthma is a minor nuisance. For others, it can be a major problem that interferes with daily activities and may lead to a life-threatening asthma attack. All right? Now, this is practice 4. Now, let's move on to vocabulary. So today's vocabulary. There are 5 words as usual. Okay, so you can screenshot, you can write very quickly. I'll go one by one. Or you can always go back to the YouTube channel and take these words down. The first word, edible, means can be eaten. Very good. Second one, edify, to make understand. Third one, elucidate, to make clear and comprehensible, to make it easier to be understood. The fourth word, elude, that is to escape physically or mentally. And the last one, entreat, ask for or to request earnestly, like you really want it. Okay, these are the 5 words. Now, your job is to take these words and look for the context in which it can be used. You need to look for situations where you can make use of these words. Now, today would mark the 6th lesson, which means you would have learned 25 new words. Make sure you make it a point to write these words down and their meanings and the context of sentences in which you could use these vocabulary. Okay, now, any questions, students?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.